Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Joe Yoon, aka Joe Therapy, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the top 5 golf stretches and mobility exercises you can do to improve your golf game so you can hit it further, more consistent, and maybe get a hole-in-one. Just kidding, I can't promise you that. But these are gonna be good, so if you're into that, stay tuned. All right, so let's go over the golf swing just a little bit so you know why we're doing these mobility exercises and stretches. And for the people who don't know, I was actually in the golf industry working as a golf fitness professional and also therapist for a ton of years before I actually started doing kind of the Joe Therapy stuff. All right, first, let's go over the golf swing and what positions your body have to actually get into. That way, there's a purpose for these stretches and you know why we're doing these stretches. So the first thing we're going to talk about are the hips. So hips and the mid-back are probably going to be the two most important parts of your body during the swing. But let's go over the hip rotation first. And this is my little fake golf clubs, just a stick. But let's get into setup position. And when we're going into our backswing, like this, our right hip for right-hander, right hip is in internal rotation, and then our left hip, our lead hip, is in external rotation. And then vice versa as you go through impact, this is internal rotation, and then external. They just swap. So that's what we're doing right here, internal, external, and then they switch internal, external rotation. So we're gonna do some mobility exercises to work on that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the upper body too. The T-spine needs to be very mobile. That's where we rotate from, not our low back, our mid back. So as we go back down, so we'll go to the top. What we're going to have to do here is get some good rotation in our T-spine to make that full shoulder turn. And that's where we're going to get the rotations, that T-spine. And we also need a little bit of side bend. So a little bit of side bend this way, because if you don't have side bend, you're gonna look like this. Shoulder's gonna be flat, no good. You wanna be here, a little bit of side bend, maintain posture through, and you will bomb it and you'll hit it more consistent too. So let's go over some of the hip exercises first and we'll work our way up. All right, so let's start it off with a 90-90 hip stretch, which is going to hit our external rotation and internal rotation at the same time. And I'll relate that to the golf swing as I'm doing the exercise. So 90-90, 90 degrees in the front leg, 90 degrees in the back, and we're going to sit up nice and tall if you can. If you're a little bit limited here, it's going to be a little tough. And if that's the case and you feel like you're going to fall over, put a pad underneath your butt, just like this, and that'll prop you up. It'll make it a little bit easier. So from this position, nice and tall, and then keep the chest out, and then we're just going to lean forward just like this. Don't hunch over, chest out, and then shift forward and hinge over. Should feel a good stretch in that front hip, and this is stretching out external rotation. This position is actually representing our backswing, because our hip is in external rotation, our lead hip is external rotation on the backswing, and then this trail hip is in internal rotation in the backswing. So this is representing our backswing. So we'll hang out here for a little bit, maybe 15 seconds, 30 seconds, we can do a couple sets. But then I want you to sit up nice and tall and then rotate towards the back hip, the trail hip, just like this. You can place your hands out in front of you if you want to. You can also place it on the ground, but you'll feel a good stretch in this hip. Internal rotation is probably the most limited body part I see in most people in general, especially golfers. If you don't have this, it's gonna be tough to turn, and vice versa, it's gonna be tough to clear at the golf ball or at impact. So again, about 15, 30 seconds here, we can do a couple sets. And now, we're going to stay in this position, but we're gonna do a moving 90-90. That was a great stretch just to stretch into the hips, but now I want to make it a little bit more active because golf is an active sport. So from here, 90-90, bring this knee up and then flip it over to the other side. Now this is representing our impact position or our follow through, and then we'll go back and forth. If this is too difficult for you, hands behind you and run through it that way. But now we're getting some good active motion and getting our body primed for the golf swing. About 10 reps on each side is pretty good. And that's it for the hips right now. Really want to concentrate on that hip rotation. Now let's go into the upper body. Now we're going to go into the upper body, the T-spine, thoracic spine. That's where we should be getting our rotation from. But a lot of people are just stiff there, so it's tough to rotate. Everyone just kind of rotates and they get stuck in. All the compensations happen in the golf swing. So making sure we have good T-spine mobility, especially rotation, is going to be very important. But we're going to start off with just warming it up in flexion extension. So just getting that warmed up, because if you are too hunched over and you're trying to swing, it's going to be tough to rotate in that mid back. So let's loosen it up a little bit, almost fix the source before we actually go into the rotation portion. So butt on heels. If this is too difficult for you, you can always pop up into an all fours position. But the reason why I have you do butt to heels if you can, that's going to help lock out the low back just a little bit. This is a T-spine cat-cow because we were isolating that mid back, just the T-spine, not the low back, or at least very little of the low back movement. So hands down, and then cat-cow, that yoga move where we're rounding our back, tucking the chin, and then looking up, and then dropping that chest down. Really concentrating on rounding out and then arching. Flexion, extension, and very minimal movement in that low back. We're going to do 10 reps here before we get into our rotational component, which is coming up right now. We can actually stay in this position. So after you finish those cat-cows, just like that, one hand behind the back, hands in external rotation, backswing, look familiar? From here, drive that elbow down, look up, and then rotate up. Again, because the butt's on the heels, we're locking out that low back, concentrating on that mid back where we're going to get that good rotation in our backswing and follow through so you don't get stuck. 10 reps there. Now let's go into the last exercise, exercise number 5, to work on side bend. All right, so let's go into our 5th and last movement, and we're going to concentrate on side bend. Probably something a lot of people don't think about in the golf swing. It's always about the hip rotation, the upper body rotation, but we need side bend to, efficiently do the golf swing. So if this was the backswing, if you go like this, it's not going to be good. We need to be here to be on plane in our golf swing. So what we're going to concentrate on is a little side bend. What I'm going to do is tall kneeling, both knees on the ground, one hand by the side, one arm up overhead, and then we're going to slide this arm down the leg and then reach over with the other side. Very important to make sure you keep your hand on the thigh, because that's where we're going to get our side bend from, because if we bring our arm out here, we're just kind of like tilting to the side. We want to get a good bend. So 10 reps on that side, other arm comes this way. Really stretch out the whole side of the body, especially down into kind of that low back and the obliques. Again, slide the hand down, just like that. And when we rotate and side bend, it should be a little bit easier. So 10 reps, both sides. And that's it for this video. So we hit our internal and external rotation on our hips. That's going to represent our backswing and follow through. Worked on T-spine rotation. We want to have our rotation from our T-spine, not from our neck, not from our back. That way we have good mechanics in the golf swing. And then the side bend, the underrated side bend. So side bending, and if you have all those things, and to be honest, if you just do those exercises, you'll probably be in a good spot if you can efficiently do all of that. And that's it for this video. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know if you want to see more golf stuff, because I haven't done a lot of golf stuff and I used to be in the industry for a long time. So comment down below, let me know if you want more golf stuff. Make sure you like this video. It helps out with the channel, and then also subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And I'll catch you guys next time.